There's a difference between being wanted and being valued. Anyone can be wanted. Wanted is chemistry. Wanted is excitement. Wanted is the rush of something new. But valued, that's different. Valued is when someone sees you clearly, flaws and all, and decides you're irreplaceable. Valued is when time increases your worth instead of diminishing it. Valued is when someone would rather solve a problem with you than start fresh with someone easier. Now, think about Elon Musk. The man has been wanted by some of the most desirable women on the planet: actresses, musicians, models, extraordinary people by any measure. They wanted him, and for a time, he wanted them back. But one faded every single time. The relationships that burned with initial chemistry all burned out. So here's the question nobody's asking. What type of partner would Elon Musk actually value long term? Not want for a season, value forever. The kind of person he'd look at in year 10 and think, I can't imagine doing this without you. The kind of person who becomes more essential with time, not less. Stay with me. Because understanding this isn't just about Elon Musk. It's about understanding what creates lasting value in any relationship, and how you can become someone who isn't just wanted, but truly, permanently, irreplaceably valued. There's a harsh truth about relationships that nobody wants to hear. Initial attraction is a terrible predictor of long-term success. The things that draw you to someone in the beginning often have nothing to do with what keeps you together over decades. Chemistry fades, novelty disappears, physical beauty changes, the excitement of newness becomes the familiarity of routine, and then what's left? Either something deeper, something that actually matters over time, or nothing. An empty shell of a relationship that exists only because ending it is harder than staying. For someone like Elon Musk, this dynamic is amplified. He doesn't lack for options. He could have almost anyone. The question isn't who would be with him. The question is, who would he want to be with? Year after year, decade after decade, through the failures and the triumphs, through the public attacks and the private struggles, through the aging, the health challenges, the evolution that happens to everyone over time. What type of partner holds value across all of that? What type of person becomes more precious with each passing year instead of less? That's what we're exploring today, not what makes someone attractive for a moment, what makes someone invaluable for a lifetime. Here's the first thing you need to understand, and it might surprise you. Long-term value has almost nothing to do with what someone brings to you. It has everything to do with what someone brings out of you. Think about the people you valued most in your life. Not romantically, just anyone. A mentor, a friend, a family member. What made them valuable? Probably not what they gave you materially, but what they helped you become. The person who saw your potential when you couldn't. The one who challenged you to be better. The one whose presence somehow made you more yourself. This is the twist about long-term value in partnership. It's not about what you receive. It's about who you are when you're with them. Do they make you smaller or larger? Do they limit you or expand you? Do they drain you or fill you? The partner Elon Musk would value long-term wouldn't be someone who just fits into his life. She would be someone who elevates his life, whose presence makes him more effective, more grounded, more human, more of who he's meant to be. That kind of partner isn't just valuable. She's essential, irreplaceable, not because of what she provides, because of who he becomes when she's there. That's the foundation of lasting value. Not providing, transforming. Let's talk about something crucial. Long-term value requires appreciation in both senses of the word. First, appreciation as in gratitude. A partner Elon would value long-term, would appreciate him. Not his fame, not his wealth, not what he can do for her. Him, the actual human being, the tired one, the one who fails, the one who doubts, the one behind all the headlines. She would see him, truly see him, and be grateful for who he is, not constantly impressed by his achievements, genuinely grateful for his existence. This is rare. Most people around successful figures appreciate what they can get, not who the person actually is. And successful people can feel the difference. They know when they're being valued for their position versus their personhood. The partner who values the person creates deep, lasting bond. The partner who values the position creates transactional relationship. But there's a second meaning of appreciation. Appreciation as in increasing in value over time, like real estate, like fine wine, like investments that compound. The partner Elon would value long-term would appreciate, grow more valuable as time passes. not depreciate, not become boring, not stagnate into familiarity, but continue developing, learning, evolving, becoming more interesting, more capable, more wise with each passing year. This kind of appreciation isn't automatic. It requires intentional growth, a commitment to never stop developing, the understanding that a relationship isn't a destination, it's a journey that demands you keep evolving together. She would be someone who, in year 20, is more fascinating than in year 1, because she never stopped growing, never stopped expanding, never thought she'd arrived and could stop improving. That's the appreciation principle: gratitude for who he is, and continuous growth in who she's becoming. Here's something that doesn't sound romantic but matters enormously: reliability, consistency, predictability. These words don't appear in love songs. Nobody writes poems about dependability. But in long-term value, they're essential. Why? Because Elon Musk's life is chaos. Every single day brings unpredictable challenges: market swings, technical failures, media attacks, crises at multiple companies. He lives in constant uncertainty. And in the midst of all that chaos, what would be most valuable? A constant, something he can count on. Someone whose behavior doesn't swing wildly, whose moods don't fluctuate unpredictably, whose presence is steady, reliable, known. This isn't about being boring. It's about being stable. There's a difference. Boring is having nothing new to offer. Stable is being consistently trustworthy in how you show up. You can be interesting and stable, creative and reliable, passionate and consistent. The woman Elon would value long-term would be his constant. When everything else is chaos, she would be peace. When everything else is uncertain, she would be sure. When the world shifts beneath his feet, she would be the ground he can count on. This kind of reliability isn't just nice to have. For someone living his level of volatility, it's survival. It's the thing that keeps you from completely losing yourself in the storm. And the person who provides it becomes invaluable. Not because they're exciting, because they're essential. Here's a trait that creates enormous long-term value: the ability to understand without demanding to be understood. Let me explain. Elon Musk's mind works differently than most people's. He thinks in systems. He processes in ways that are hard to articulate. He makes connections that seem irrational until they prove genius. Most partners would demand that he explain himself, that he make his thinking accessible, that he translate his internal world into terms she can understand. This is natural. We all want to understand our partners, but for someone like Elon, this demand can feel exhausting. He's already spending enormous energy communicating with boards, employees, media. Having to also translate his inner world for his partner adds another layer of cognitive load. The partner he would value long-term would be different. She would understand without needing everything explained. Not because she reads his mind, but because she's developed the capacity to be comfortable with not fully understanding. She can sit with mystery. She can accept that parts of him are beyond her comprehension. She can trust the person without needing to decode every thought. This is profound acceptance. It says, I don't need to understand everything about you to love everything about you. It gives him permission to be complicated, to be confusing sometimes, to exist without the burden of being fully legible. And that permission, that space to be unknowable in parts, is a gift most people never receive, especially not people whose public image makes everyone think they already know everything. She would understand what she can and peacefully accept what she can't. That's long-term value. Here's something research consistently shows about lasting relationships. They require shared meaning, not just shared interests, not just shared attraction, shared meaning, a sense that together you're building something, creating something, contributing to something larger than either individual. For Elon Musk, meaning is everything. His entire existence is organized around purpose, making humanity multiplanetary, accelerating sustainable energy, protecting civilization from AI risk. These aren't business strategies, they're meaning structures. The framework that makes his life worth living. The partner he'd value long-term would connect to this meaning, not by pretending to care about rockets when she doesn't, but by finding genuine intersection between his purpose and her own values. Maybe she cares about the future of humanity too, through a different lens. Maybe she has her own mission that aligns with his broader vision. Maybe she can see how their partnership itself serves something larger. This shared meaning transforms a relationship from private arrangement to purposeful collaboration. It's no longer just about the two of them. It's about what they represent together, what they're building together, what they're contributing together. This creates durability. When hard times come, and they always do, shared meaning provides a reason to fight through. Not just I love you, but what we represent matters. That's so much stronger. That's what lasts. Let me share something crucial about long-term value. It requires being irreplaceable. Not perfect, not superior to everyone else in every way, but irreplaceable, uniquely positioned in his life in a way that no one else could be. How does someone become irreplaceable? Not by being the most beautiful. Beauty fades, and there's always someone more beautiful. Not by being the most successful. Success is comparative, and competition never ends. Not by being the most anything in objective terms. Irreplaceability comes from unique combination. The specific way this person fits with him. The particular dynamic that exists between them and no one else. The history they share that no new person could replicate. The inside jokes. The survived crises. The moments that belong only to them. The woman Elon would value long-term would become irreplaceable through accumulation. Through years of shared experience that create a bond that couldn't be rebuilt with someone else. Through knowing him so deeply that no one else could ever catch up. Through becoming woven into his story so thoroughly that removing her would tear the fabric of his life. This takes time. You can't fast-track irreplaceability. You can only build it, year by year, experience by experience, moment by moment, until one day, you look at this person and realize there is no replacing them, not because they're objectively the best, but because what we've built together is one of a kind. That's irreplaceability. That's long-term value. Here's perhaps the most important quality of all. The partner Elon Musk would value long-term, would give him something he's never really had. Home, not a house. A home, a feeling, a sense of belonging that isn't tied to location. A place he can exist without performing, without defending, without proving, just be. Elon has houses, probably many of them. He has places to sleep, but does he have home? The place where your walls come down, where you're accepted exactly as you are, where you're not CEO or billionaire or controversial figure, just you, human, flawed, loved anyway. The partner who could create that experience, that sense of home, would be invaluable, because you can't buy home. You can't manufacture it. You can only receive it from someone who offers unconditional belonging, and for someone who's spent his entire adult life proving himself to the world, home would be revolutionary. It would be rest, real rest. The kind that happens when you finally stop running. She would be that rest, not a retreat from life, but a restoration for life. The place he goes to refill so he can pour out again. The harbor where the ship repairs before the next voyage. The home he carries with him even when he's physically far away. That's the ultimate long-term value. Not what she does, what she represents. Peace, belonging, home. Now let me speak directly to you, because this isn't just about who Elon Musk might value. It's about what creates long-term value in any relationship. Ask yourself, are you becoming more valuable over time or less? Are you still growing, or have you stagnated? Are you providing reliability in someone's chaos? Are you understanding without demanding to be understood? Are you creating shared meaning? Are you becoming irreplaceable through accumulated connection? Are you offering someone the experience of home? These aren't just nice ideas. They're the blueprint for becoming someone who is valued long-term. Someone who isn't just wanted for a season, but treasured for a lifetime. Most people never become this. Most people stay focused on attraction, on chemistry, on that initial spark, and they wonder why relationships keep ending. They wonder why they keep being replaced. They wonder why value fades. It fades because they never built what lasts. They built on novelty, which expires. They built on chemistry, which fluctuates. They built on external qualities, which change. But the people who are valued long-term, they build on depth, on character, on who they are, not what they seem, on the qualities that appreciate with time instead of depreciate. That's what creates lasting value. That's what makes someone irreplaceable. That's what you should be building in yourself. Imagine this. 20 years from now, Elon Musk is older, the rockets have flown or failed, the companies have succeeded or transformed, the headlines have faded into history, and there's a woman beside him, not the flashiest woman, not the most famous, Not the one who would have won any competition for his attention decades ago, but the one who stayed, the one who grew alongside him, the one who weathered every storm without breaking. She knows him in ways no one else ever could, knows the fears he never spoke publicly, knows the failures that never made the news, knows the dreams he held even before he had the power to chase them. Their history together is its own universe. Inside jokes that span decades, memories that bring tears both kinds, a shorthand of communication that took years to develop. Looking at her, he sees not just who she is now, but who she was when they met, who she was in the hard years, who she was in the moments that tested everything, and who she became through all of it. She's not the same person he met, neither is he, but they evolved together, in parallel, each pushing the other to be more. He thinks about what she's given him over these 20 years, not things, not money. She never needed his money, not status. She never wanted his spotlight. She gave him something he couldn't buy, something he couldn't build, something no achievement could ever equal. She gave him home. She gave him peace. She gave him the one place in the universe where he didn't have to be Elon Musk. He could just be Elon, tired, aging, human, loved, valued, not for his rockets or his billions or his world-changing visions, for him. And in that value, that long-term, persistent, unwavering value, he found something he'd been chasing his whole life without knowing it. Enough. He was finally enough. Not because he achieved enough, because she loved him enough, because he was valued enough, because he finally understood that all the Mars missions in the universe can't give you what one person's lasting love can. The feeling that you matter, not for what you do, for who you are. That's what long-term value creates. That's what the right partner gives. That's what he's been searching for. And that's what you could give or receive if you build yourself into someone who offers lasting worth. And here's the deeper lesson. Long-term value isn't about being impressive. It's about being essential. It's not about being the best option. It's about being the only option that makes sense. The partner Elon Musk would value long-term wouldn't win any competition for his attention. Because she wouldn't be competing, she'd be building, slowly, steadily, creating something that couldn't be compared to anything else. A bond so unique that comparison becomes meaningless. A history so rich that starting over becomes unthinkable. A partnership so essential that life without it seems incomplete. That's what you should aim for. Not being more attractive than the alternatives. Being so deeply intertwined that alternatives stop mattering. Not being impressive. Being irreplaceable. Not being wanted in the moment, being valued for a lifetime. So here's what I want you to take from this. The type of partner Elon Musk is most likely to value long-term is someone who appreciates him genuinely while continually growing herself. Someone reliable in a world of chaos. Someone who understands without demanding explanation. Someone who helps create shared meaning. Someone who becomes irreplaceable through accumulated history. And someone who gives him what all his success never could. Home. These qualities aren't flashy. They don't make headlines. They don't win competitions for attention. But they win something better. They win the long game. The game that most people don't even know they're playing. The game where year 10 matters more than month 1. Where depth beats novelty. Where character outlasts chemistry. That's the game of long-term value. And if you learn to play it, if you become someone who offers these qualities, you won't just be wanted. You'll be treasured. Not for a season, for a lifetime, and there is no greater gift to give or receive than the knowledge that you are valued, truly, deeply, permanently, not for what you provide, for who you are. That's lasting love. That's long-term value. That's what Elon Musk needs. That's what we all need, and that's what you have the power to become. If this video made you think differently about what creates lasting value in relationships, if it challenged you to focus on depth over flash, character over chemistry, then subscribe. This channel explores what actually matters in success, in love, in building a life worth living. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stop trying to be wanted. Start becoming valued, because wanted fades, valued lasts. And lasting is what we're all really after.